Hello dear friends, welcome to Gate Academy Global. So before starting today's session, I would like to have the input or the concurrence regarding the quality of video as well as audio. If it is perfect, just write perfect over the live chat and then we are ready to go ahead. Anyways, focus over the agenda behind today's video. We are going to take the 7 different kinds of the problem which has appeared in different gate examinations, and all of the questions are based on the concept of probability, specifically permutation and combination. So I can say it would be my last class based on the concept of permutation and combination. Permutation and combination. You can see all of the questions are clearly visible on your digital board. This would be the first question of the day. The problem has been experienced by production engineering. Year of 2015, the problem was designed by IIT Kanpur. In the same sequence, we would take the next question. This problem have come in GATE Computer Science, year of 1996. The problem was framed by ISC Bangalore. And in the same sequence, the third question of the day would be the question which have come in GATE Mechanical, year of 2016. The problem was framed by ISC Bangalore. And if I talk about the level of the questions, definitely the level of the questions which we are going to take in today's class is comparatively superior in compare with the questions which we have taken in last two classes. Similarly, in the same sequence, we would move ahead, and this would be the fourth question of the day. This problem is being appeared in physics, year of 2019. The problem was designed by IIT Madras. In the same sequence, we are going to take the fifth question of the day. The problem has been come in metallurgy, year of 2018. Here comes the sixth. Have come in computer science. Here goes the seventh. The question have come in mechanical engineering. Agreed? So before starting today's session, I would like to have the input regarding the quality of video as well as audio. Is it perfect or not? Just write perfect, and then we are going to go ahead. Yes, no? So let me focus over the first question first. Here comes the first question. So let me bring this problem towards working board, and we would try to smash this problem completely over the working board. So here goes the first question. And I would be giving around 100 to 120 seconds for the each and individual question. So try to read this problem carefully. Try to decode the each and individual words as well as the concepts behind each and individual words as well as sentence, and get the perfect most answer. So the problem had been, a product is an assemble of 5 different components. That means we are manufacturing a product, and that product is being manufactured by the 5 different components. That's fine. The product can be sequentially assembled in two possible ways. If the 5 components are placed in a box and these are drawn at random from the box, then the probability options were given. It has been a type of MCQ. That means out of 4 different options, you are going to have only one option as a correct option. It starts with 2 divided by 5 factorial, then goes with 2 divided by 5. C option has been 2 divided by 5 minus 2 factorial, and the option D had been 2 divided by 5 minus of 3 factorial. So good evening to all of you. Pranali, Ankit, Pranali as Vedant. Yes. Good evening to all of you. Tell me what would be the best most answer for this given problem. Try to read this problem carefully. Try to decode all of the important words which has been involved within the complete problem, and get me the perfect most answer. Reading the problem as well as carefully extracting the meaning behind the each and individual words becomes very important if you deal with any sort of problem, specifically in probability. Tell me what would be the best most answer. I hope this problem is clearly visible to all of us. So let me start solving this problem out over here. So here starts the solution. Once we'll read this problem, let me crack few of the important words which are involved within the problem, and we'll try to understand the concept behind those important words. A product is an assemble of 5 different components. That means the finished product is the combination of the 5 different components. That's fine, sir. The product can be sequentially assembled in two possible ways. What does it mean by the sequential? That means here the sequence do also make sense. Like if I give an example, if you had to produce a Parle-G biscuits we used to have, no? If you have to produce the Parle-G biscuit, may I know what are the different process of what are the different components would be involved? First, you would be bringing sugar. Second, you might be bringing maize, you might be bringing maize, and then third, you would be mixing them together. Fourth, maybe you might be baking them, and last, you would be packing it. But you cannot change its sequence, no? At very beginning, you cannot go for the packing. My dear friends, until and unless the biscuit has not been fabricated, how you will do the process of packing itself? Similarly, you would not do at very beginning baking itself until and unless the sugar have not come to you, until and unless the maize has not come to you, you have not mixed it properly, you cannot go for the process of baking. So here, the finished product has been a Parle-G within a packet, and obviously you had to follow a certain process, and those process has to be followed in sequence. Those process has to be followed in sequence. Could you understand what I am saying? Just let me take few number of example. If you had to produce a Parle-G, may I know what are the different steps would be required? First, you would bring, let me start with here. Let me start here itself. Where should I be writing it? Okay. Just try to understand the psychic behind this problem, because many of the students would do the mistake while solving this problem. If you had to produce the Parle-G, the first step would be bringing sugar. The second step would be bringing maida, in Hindi it's called maize. Third step would be proper mixing. Fourth step could be the baking of the mixed product, and the last would be packing. So may I know, if I follow these steps in sequence, whether I would be able to produce my finished product or not? Obviously, I would be. Agreed what I am saying? In the same sequence, if I change this sequence like this, what I did over here, rather bringing the sugar first, I brought the maize first and then I brought the sugar. So what's the change I have been experiencing? Yes, this was the change. Here I brought the maize first and then I brought the sugar. May I know, if I follow this process, still I would be able to bring the fresh product or not? Obviously, I would be able to bring the Parle-G out of the complete process. Complete process. Agreed what I am saying? Could you understand? May I know now further sequence change, is it possible? No. If you'll say, sir, at very beginning I would go for the baking process and then I would bring the sugar and then I would bring the maize. No, the Parle-G is not going to get produced. Similarly, you can't say, sir, at very beginning I would go for the packing and then I would follow this all complete process. That's not at all possible. Many of the times it has been seen when you go for the finished product, you had to follow a certain process, and the process do come in sequence. Could you understand? Process do come in sequence. Like the first step could have been bringing the sugar, the second step could have been bringing the maize, then mixing both of them together and then going for the baking, and once the biscuit is being baked, definitely we would go for its baking. So here the sequence is also making sense. And as far as this problem is being concerned, how many different components we had? Like here the 5 number of different steps we had. No, here the 5 different number of components we had. And be careful while reading this problem, it has been clearly given the product can be sequentially assembled. That means all of the products has to have a certain sequence. Obviously, in 2 possible ways. That means out of 5 factorial ways, only 2 possible ways are the possible ways through which you would be able to deliver the final product. So here it has been clearly given, if the 5 components are placed in box and they are drawn at random from the box, then the probability of getting a correct sequence. May you know how many different sequences you will be having if the 5 number of components you have and you have been selecting one after another? Obviously 5 factorial ways. That we have already seen it. that we have already seen it. And out of that, only and only 2 sequence are the sequence which would give you the final product. So may I know how many number of favorable situations you have? 2 out of 5 factorial. You will be getting the answer, and the answer is gonna be A. And you will be getting the answer as A. Could you understand what exactly I wanted to communicate through this problem? Just a minute. Would like to ask from each one of you, the concept behind this problem has been clear to all of us or not? It must be, it must be. So all of the 5 items are going to get selected, but in the different sequence. How many different sequence you can have? You can have 5p5, and we have seen npn stand for n factorial, and here the value of n has been 5. So definitely the denominator had been 5 factorial, 5 factorial. Out of 5 factorial different number of ways, which is equals to 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, only 2 number of sequential processes are in the process through which you would be able to generate the final product. That has been the total favorable number of event out of 5 factorial. So the answer is gonna be 2 divided by 5 factorial. The same process would go for the production of the Parle-G also. If I say the Parle-G requires the 5 different steps to get produced, what are they? Bringing sugar, bringing maize, then mixing, then baking, then packing. May I know their sequences, can it be altered? Yes or no? No, it can't be altered. At very beginning you won't say, sir, I would pack. What you will pack, yeah? The biscuit itself has not been manufactured, what you will pack. So obviously the packing has to come at very last. And even the baking would come just before the packing. Until and unless the biscuits are not baked, how will you bake them? So you can see very well, as far as the 5 number of processes are to be involved while producing the Parle-G biscuit, you can alter the starting 2 processes, but you cannot alter the remaining 3 processes. They had to come into the sequence. May I know how many different ways these 5 processes could have been arranged? Obviously, they could have been arranged into the 5 factorial different ways, because not only out of 5 number of processes we are selecting all 5 processes, even their sequences are also making different sense. Their processes are all also making different sense. So from here the result is simply going to be 5 factorial, but among them the correct sequence would be either of them. Either you can follow this sequence, either you can follow this sequence. So end of the day, the result which we are supposed to get after doing this all calculation has been 2 divided by 5 factorial. 2 divided by 5 factorial. So this has been the best most answer. Is that part clear? Would like to ask from each one of you, if any sort of doubt has been left out in your brain, you can put it over the live chat. I will try to address those doubts here itself, because probably 4 to 5 students had been late in my today's lecture, so probably they could not have got the complete glimpse of this problem itself. Tell me. No, in problem nowhere it has been written that the Parle-G example could have been taken. While I was taking this problem, no, I was thinking just to give a practical idea, no, I should take a live example through which you would be able to connect this problem practically. And this has been the live example behind this complete problem. Yes. So I would say whenever you are reading from me, no, or if you are following with me, so one thing you should follow strictly. Whatever I say, no, try to write over your copy, because whenever you have been following me in live application, I used to dictate each and everything. Even I used to pause in between. I used to give the time to write, but here it's not possible. No, here it's not possible. My basic agenda is to deliver all of the important topics with few number of examples. So it's your responsibility to write all of the important steps which comes in between. Yes, no? So may I know which has been the most crucial word along with this problem, and this has been sequential. Agreed? So this has been the first question of the day. And I would raise my level of questions. Probably yesterday and day before yesterday, the level of the questions which has been brought in front of you, they were not that heavy. But it is a responsibility of mine that over the period of time, my level of questions are going to increase, and that's the best way to read, and that's the best way to teach. Agreed? Okay. Pranali, I do not exactly remember. One girl was just telling me yesterday, sir, why don't we take few number of tough problem. Now you can see the first problem itself, it's not a tough problem, but it is a problem with a great concept. With a great concept. Yes. So this has been the first question of the day. This has been the first question of the day, and obviously you can take the reference of this example to understand this concept very well. You can take this example into the mechanical segment also. Like if you had to build a complete automobile system, at the very beginning you will bring the engine. The engine has to be mounted over the shaft. The shaft had to covered with the body. The body has to be colored. Those things cannot be done alternatively. No, any sequence cannot be followed at any moment of time. You have to follow a certain step. So out of 5 factorial different ways, the two number of steps or 2 number of sequences are the favorable sequences. So may I know what's gonna be the probability that you would be getting your finished product? It's been 2 divided by 5 factorial. In the same sequence, let me move forward with the second question. Here goes the second question. Read the problem carefully, and again, as I have been communicating, now the level of questions which we are supposed to face in today's class would be comparatively heavier in compare with the questions which we have faced yesterday and day before yesterday. Yesterday as well as day before yesterday. This has been the second question of the day. The problem has appeared in GATE Computer Science, year of 1996. The problem was framed by ISC Bangalore. Let me read the problem carefully, and then the turn goes to you guys. I would be giving around 100 seconds to crack this problem out. Once you get its answer, put it over the live chat, and after 100 seconds, I would take the complete analysis of this problem and we'll try to get its best most answer. The problem states the probability that top and bottom card of a randomly shuffled deck are both as in. The 4 different options were attached along with this problem. 4 is square, 52 is square, 4 into 3 divided by 52 is square, 4 into 3 divided by 52 into 51, 4 square divided by 52 into 51. Tell me what would be the best most answer for this particular problem. This problem should not take more than 100 seconds. But yes, the way you would be applying your concept make a lot of sense specifically in this problem. Because it's not that straight problem. Little bit confusion element is already been involved with this problem. So I find many of the times the students are not able to give the proper most answer for this sort of problem. The problem has appeared in GATE Computer Science, and the mathematics problem which do come in computer science, they used to be comparatively tougher questions. So answer have started coming. That's great to see that Pranali as well as Aniket have given the answer probably within 50 to 60 seconds. Anyone else apart from Pranali and Aniket? Better to bring this problem towards working board, and we would try to smash that problem there itself. This has been the question. No, Nishant, that's a mistake you have done. As per the Nishant, he says, sir, is it saying indirectly that both are the taken together? No, it's not. It's not. Just try to understand the basic crux behind the problem, and then you will able to understand this problem would fall under which category. Both had been taken together. One had been taken another after succession without replacement or with replacement. So until and unless you are not very clear in which particular segment this problem would fall in, you would not be able to get the perfect answer. You would not be able to get the perfect answer. So I would like to ask from each one of you, what would be the perfect most answer for this problem which has been appeared in computer science in year of 1996. The problem was framed by IISc Bangalore. IISc Bangalore. Here starts my solution. Here starts my solution. As per the problem, You had a well shuffled deck of card. May I know, well shuffled deck of card, how many number of cards you will be having? Obviously 52 number of cards you will be having. So I have had the 52 number of cards like this. 52 number of cards we had. Yes, like this, 52 number of cards you had. Yes. And now as per the problem, you are going to withdraw one card from the top and one card out of bottom. And you wanted to have both of the cards as S. Both of the cards as S. Just try to understand. That means you want the situation, in first withdraw, that card has to be S from the top, and in second withdraw, that card has to be S. Agree? So at very beginning what you are doing, you are going to withdraw the first card from the top and you wanted to have its probability to be a S. How many total cards you had, my dear friends? Total 52 number of cards you had. Out of that, how many ace card you will be having? Obviously 4 ace card you would be having. How many ways that ace card could have been selected? You could have selected the ace card from the spade, maybe diamond, heart, anything. Could you understand what I am saying? How many ways it could have been done? It could have been done 4 different ways. 4 different ways. And now your requirement is not yet satisfied. Still you have to put your hand towards the bottom of the deck of the card, and the card which has to be taken out has to be a S again. And obviously that card which has been taken already out has been ace. So the ace card has been reduced to 3 and the number of card has been reduced to 51. Number of card has been reduced to 51. So the best most answer which we are supposed to get is simply gonna be 4 into 3, 52 into 51. And once you'll observe their option carefully, you will get to know they are not concerned about the numeric and all. They are concerned about your only and only concept. Otherwise they could have given the answer in a form of numeric digits or decimal values, but no, they have not given. They have just given in a form of the conceptual multiplication itself. So may I know what's going to be the best most answer? The best most answer is going to be option C. Best most option is option C. How this has been 4? It could have been 4C1, or you can say the ace could have come from heart. Either it could have come from diamond. Either it could have come from club. Or either it could have come from spade. Yes. So the 4 possibilities you had at very beginning, but once one card has been thrown it out or one card has been withdrawn, you have been left out with only and only 3 ace cards. So here it becomes 3C1 and number of cards has been reduced to 51 out of 52. Yes. Yes, Subhangi, that's perfect if you have used the same concept. So I can say the simplest form or the simplest way to crack this problem out. Perfect, Subhangi. Nishant would like to ask you from once again, could you really understood the crux behind this problem or not? Because this is the point where many of the students would do the blunder. See, at very beginning, you have been taking a card from the top, and the probability that card to be ace is nothing but 4 divided by 52. And now what is happening? Did you understand? If this has been an ace, this card has got fixed. This card has got fixed. The first card has been fixed as an ace. Now you have been left out with how many number of cards? 51. If you're not able to understand from the concept of discard and all, just understand in this way. You have taken first card out and that you saw that it has been an ace. May I know what would be the probability of it? It's gonna be 4 divided by 52. Now if you are just keeping it back, still what had happened, the position of the first card which was a S had got fixed. It's nothing to do with the rest of them. But yes, one change has been happened. Now you have been left out with only and only 51 number of cards, and you are in search with another S in the remaining 51 number of cards. Already one card has been reduced as a S. So the number of S card which has been left out is going to be 3. Out of 3 number of S card, you again wanted to bring a S card out. That's going to be 3C1 out of 51. Out of 51. Yes, no? So just would like to ask from each one of you, Could you really understood the crux behind this problem or not? If your answer is yes, just write yeah, why, and if your answer is no, just write n, so that I would be able to explain this complete concept once again. But I don't find the student who have been following me since 4 to 5 days, the day from where the probability have started, they would have any sort of problem. No, they won't have. They won't have. So the best most answer for this problem has been option C. Option C. In the same sequence, I think is the right time to move ahead with the third question of the day. This has been the third question of the day. The problem has been experienced by Gate Mechanical, year of 2016. And yes, the problem was framed by ISC Bangalore. Why? That's perfect, no? Perfect. Thanks Pooja, Pranali, Subhangi, Aniket. Thanks to all. 3 cards were withdrawn from a pack of 52 cards. The probability that they are king, a queen and jack. The 4 different options were attached along with this problem. It has been a type of MCQ. That means out of the 4 different options which are attached, only one option is going to be the correct option. The first option has been 16 divided by of 5525. B had been 64 divided by of 2197, C has been 3 divided by of 13, and D had been 8 divided by of 16575. So the answer have started coming. The first answer comes from Aniket Sahu. As per the Aniket Sahu, the answer is supposed to be B. Anyone else apart from Aniket? This problem should not take more than 90 seconds to get solved. I would like to have at least 2 or 3 number of replies. As per the Pooja Reddy, the answer had been A. There had been the contradiction between Aniket and Pooja. Anyone else apart from the Aniket as well as Pooja? See, what are the different varieties we will be seeing? Now the answer have come as A as well as D. Anyways, I think your 90 minutes are over. Let me bring this problem and working board, and there we would do the complete surgery with this problem. So here starts the solution. Here it starts the solution. 3 cards were withdrawn from a pack of 52 cards. If nothing is being given, just assume they have been well shuffled. The probability that they are king, a queen and jack is. My dear friends, whenever the way the withdrawal has been taken place has not been clearly given in your problem, I have told you many of the times your basic assumption would be together. Could you understand? Nowhere it has been given that they were withdrawn in succession with replacement or without replacement. If those things or those concepts are not at all discussed in your problem, just assume they have been withdrawn in simultaneous. Agreed? So the first important point we can write over here, if nothing is being given, nothing is given regarding withdraw out of 3 different pattern of withdrawal, first together, one after another, without replacement, one after with replacement. There are 3 different ways the selection could have been made, and if nothing is being given, you would always assume that they all have been withdrawn together. Yes. So what we would do over here, we would presume this problem in like this. Just a minute. That means the 3 number of cards has been selected together. If 3 number of cards has been selected together, how many ways it could have been done out of 52 number of cards? They would have been 52C3. And among them, one has to be king, one has to be queen, and one has to be jack. And here, keep in mind, here, if they all have been withdrawn together, no, if they all have been withdrawn together, their sequence does not make any sense. So here, out of the 4 number of king, how many ways the one king could have been extracted out? That is a 4C1. And here it goes, the 4 number of queen, how many ways the one card would have been extracted out, and how many ways the jack could have been extracted out. So simply it becomes 4C1, 4C1, 4C1. End of the day, you'll end up calculating 4 into 4 into 4. That has been 4 to the power of 3 towards the numerator side, and towards the denominator side you would be having 52C3. 52C3. Here it goes C and here goes 3. 22100. 22100 is going to get multiplied with the 4 to the power of 3. 4 to the power of 3. So the answer which we are supposed to get had been 16 divided by of 5 to 5, and now there is no common factor between numerator and denominator. So the best most answer which we are supposed to get after doing all of these steps is gonna be option A. Obviously, Manju have given the perfectly well answer. Aniket, your answer is correct. Subhangi, your answer is also correct. Please explain and or in this problem. Yes, you can understand in this way. Now, see, here it has been clearly given the probability that they are king. May I know the question has been raised by whom? The Pranali has raised the question. Try to understand. I am giving a short trick. Always the base of denominator and base of numerator would always be same. Whenever, just try to understand, whenever the multiplication takes place, no, their base would always start getting added. So may I know what had been the base over here? 1 plus of 1 plus of 1. So it has been 3 over here. Many of the times I have seen the student used to have a minute doubt, sir, whether we have done the calculation correct or not. My dear friends, if you are going to select the 3 items, by default in each and individual terms also you are going to select the 3 items, and in that case the base which had been there towards the denominator side, the same base should be there towards the numerator side also. So you can see very well how many number of cards has been selected. 3 number of cards you had been selected. And I would request to all of you, yesterday as well as day before yesterday, few number of questions we have taken now. There the OR sequence were also connected with the AND. Whenever you do the ANDing, the multiplication takes place, and whenever the multiplication would take place, you will see one thing. If you will add their base together now, and in second term if you'll add their base together, if in third term if you'll add their base together, you will find all of the bases in first term, in the second term, in the third term, as well as towards denominator it would be very same. They can't be like 4C1 into 4C1 divided by a 52C3. It can't be at all, because how many number of items is being picked out of the 52, that has to be picked out from the same segment itself. So I would say, I would give a little bit trick to all of you. If you do the calculation, like you had a certain problem where you have been dealing with the 4C2. Let's take it has been 2C1 into of 2C2 plus of you can write 2C2 plus of you can write 3C3, and somewhere you can write 1C1. Would like to ask from each one of you, if you have been doing certain mathematical analysis or mathematical calculation which can be involved with a certain word problem based on the concept of the permutation and combination, would like to ask from each one of you, if you have done all of the calculation, keep aside your word problem at all, keep aside your word problem one side, and just would like to ask from each one of you whether this expression is a correct expression or whether this expression has been a wrong expression. Because I know many of the times the student would do the mistake while watching or while analyzing the problem. Sometime rather placing multiplication, they used to place the addition, and rather placing the addition, they used to place the multiplication. But end of the day, the mathematical expression would come in your hand now. That is going to tell you something very beautiful. Tell me whether this expression has been a correct expression or not. Yes or no? Your answer should come in a form of y or n. Y or n. Wrong. May I know which particular term had the wrong analysis? My dear friends, out of 4 number of items, we have been selecting 2 items. My basic concern is not the 4 number of items. My basic concern had been the 2 number of items were selected. If the 2 number of items were selected, so obviously in each and individual packet, the 2 items must be ensured to get selected. 2 items must be get to ensured selected. But here, how many number of items got selected? And that means this has also happened and this has also happened. How many number of items we have selected? 3 number of items we have selected, which is not at all possible, my dear friends. Here it has been clearly known that you have been seeking a probability of a certain problem where the 2 items has been withdrawn, and towards the numerator side you have been withdrawing the 3 items. It's not possible, no? And here also you have been withdrawing the 3 items, which is not possible. I can say if instead the 2, if the value would have been 1, I am not sure whether the expression has been correct or not, but it looks okay. That in this particular packet, at least I selected the 2 number of items, 1 and 1. 1 and 1. So it's a basic sort trick where many of the students used to have the doubt at last whether the mathematical expression which they have brought after doing all of the calculation seems to be correct or not. They can use this sort trick. They can use this sort trick. Obviously, this sort trick is connected with the basic most fundamental, my dear friends. If 2 items are being selected from all of the 4 number of items, keep aside 4 number of items, in each and individual bundles, you must ensure that you are selected with the 2 number of items. How many number of items are being picked out? 3 number of items are being picked out. How many number of items are being picked out? 2 number of items are being picked out. If this concept is clear, just write clear, no? Because this concept is really a big savior whenever you do come, or a very heavy expression do come in your hand, and there you cannot read the word problem again and again because you will have the lack of time in specifically in gate examination. There you used to fear a lot whether the expression which have come in your hand has been a perfect expression or not. I am not saying you would exactly know whether it has been a perfect expression or not, but still your accuracy would be raised somewhere 90%. Would be raised somewhere 90%. Tell me. So obviously this concept must be clear to most of the student, and this concept becomes a real savior in many of the calculation. In the same sequence, now it's right time to go ahead with the next question. And this question have come in PE year of 2019. The problem was framed by IIT Madras. Read the problem carefully and try to get the best most answer. What this problem states: a box contains 2 red and 3 black balls. 3 balls are randomly chosen from the box and placed in a bag. Then the probability that there are 1 red, 2 black balls in the bag is. This problem should not take more than 60 to 70 seconds. So definitely I would wait for the next 60 to 70 seconds for watching your answer over the live chat. A box contains 2 red and 3 black balls. 3 balls are randomly chosen from the box and placed in a bag. Then probability that there are 1 red and 2 black balls in the bag is. although they have connected, or although they have brought box as well as bag within the same problem, but I don't find the bag has anything to do with this problem. Although you have been selecting and keeping it in bag, or although you have been selecting or you have just been watching, it's one of the same case. No, it's one of the same case. So far we were just withdrawing, we were just selecting, and we were not keeping somewhere else. But here we have been selecting from the box, and then we have been putting it in bag. So what had been the crux behind this problem? We had to go behind that. We had to go behind that. Again the same concept. Nowhere it has been discussed that they have been picked one after another with replacement or without replacement. That means this problem would be a problem where all of the selection had been taken at once or together. This has been the problem of the selection when all of the three items of the balls have been selected together. Next. You want the situation exactly when the selection must have been done in such, the one red ball you could have been picked out and two black ball you could have been picked out. May you know how many red balls you had been had? Obviously the two red balls you had, so how many ways you could have done? 2 ways, or 2C1 ways. That has been 2 itself. So here it's simply gonna be 2. Yes, and I do not exactly remember, the student had the problem, sir, when the and when the or do come, and how the and or is being addressed mathematically. Obviously here the and would come, because you want one red ball and two black ball. It's not optional that you can bring only one red ball or you can only bring two black ball out. They were not optional, they had to take place together. So obviously the and would come together. Yes, and here becomes 2 black ball. How many black balls we had? The 3 black balls we had. So here's gonna be 3C2 divided by of how many total balls we had? 5C2. So obviously you would be able to get the exact most answer. May you know in decimal form how much answer we have been getting for this problem? Probably the answer which we are supposed to get for this problem is being 0.6. Once you'll do all of the numeric calculations, no, end of the day the answer which would come in our hand is going to be 0.6. Yes, it has been a comparatively asan problem, but probably the next 2 or 3 number of problems which we are going to crack are comparatively tougher problem. So may I know whether this problem is okay? Yes, this problem is okay to most of us. In the same sequence, now it's right time to move ahead with the next question, which has been the 5th question of the day. The problem had appeared in metallurgy year of 2018. The problem was framed by IIT Guwahati. Let me read this problem thoroughly, and then the next 60 to 90 seconds would be given to you to find its perfect answer. Once you have done with that calculation, you put that answer over the live chat. See what the problem states. A classroom of 20 students can be categorized on the basis of their blood group. 5 students each. That means out of 20 number of students, 5 students has been made as a bundle, and 5 students had the same blood group, and similarly the 4 different varieties of the blood group we had over this particular sequence or segment. They have been A, they have been B, they have been AB, and they have been O blood types. If 4 students are selected at random from the class, what is the probability that each student has the different blood group? Almost same sort of problem is already been dealt day before yesterday when we were taking the chunk amount of the problem which were the design problems by me. So that is what I am saying. No, if you are done with the questions which we have been designed by me, no, which I have designed, you would be able to address almost all sort of problem. This has been the next question. Tell me what would be the answer for this given problem. Around 60 seconds would be given to you guys. Tell me what would be the best most answer. No answer so far. Tell me what would be the answer. once you'll read this problem carefully, you'll get to know. You had a class. Let's take, I had a class over here. Total 50 number of students we had, and they have been segregated, they have been classified, they have been bifurcated in terms of their blood group. And it has been clearly, categorically said, the 5 student falls from the same blood group. And the blood group had been AB as well as O. That means the 5 number of student would prevail from the same blood group, and you would have the 4 different classifications in terms of their bloods, So I can write over here, we start with A. How many number of students we would be having? 5 number of students. B, 5 number of students. O, 5 number of students, and AB, 5 number of students. 5 number of students. Now the 4 number of students are picked out randomly. It has been clearly said the 4 number of students are selected. If nothing has been given regarding the selection, keep in mind it would be assumed as a simultaneous selection. That means they have been selected together. They have been selected together. And as per the requirement, I want to find, or I need to find the probability when the selection has been made in such a way that all of the 4 students which has been withdrawn together, they should come from the different blood groups. Anyways, out of 20 number of student, how many ways the 4 student could have been selected? That would be the total number of event in your sample space. That would be 20 divided by C4. Out of that, the one should come from what? One should come from A group, and another should come from B, next should come from AB, and the last should come from O. May you know, in A group, how many students we had? 5 students we had. We are going to select 1 student out of that. How many ways it could have been done? 5C1, or you can say like this here. In blood group of A, let's take Ram, Rahim, Syam, Sonu, Sundar were the 5 number of students. How many ways you could have selected 1 student? You could have selected Ram, Rahim, Syam, 5 different ways, no? So here it goes 5, here it goes 5, here it goes 5, and here also it goes 5, here it goes 5. You had to do its multiplication, and end of the day you had to get its answer. So here the 5 has been raised to the power of 4, at least towards numerator side, and towards denominator side we had 20C4, and the end of the day result which we are supposed to get is being 0.1289. 0.1289. So the best most answer is being option B. Yes, so the answer have started coming. Pranali have given the perfectly right answer. Nissan, Subhangi, Pooja, Aniket, all of the answers are perfectly correct. Yes, in the same sequence, I think it's right time to deal with the next question. And this question is comparatively tougher problem. There is no doubt as such. Yes, it has been a comparatively tougher problem. The GATE Computer Science has experienced this problem in year of 2018. The problem was framed by IIT Guwahati. Focus over the problem, focus over the each and individual words which are present over the problem, try to figure it out which concepts they have been knocking off. End of the day, you have to solve this problem. I would give around 100 seconds to solve this problem out. Probably this problem must have been visual to all of us. If it is not, let me read this problem word to word. A 6-sided, unbiased, with 4 green faces and 2 red faces is rolled 7 times. Which of the following combination is the most likely outcome of the experiment? The 4 different options were attached along with this problem. 3 green faces and 4 red faces. B had been 4 green faces and 3 red faces. C had been 5 green faces and 2 red faces. And D had been 6 green faces and 1 red face. It has been an utterly well designed problem. I know many of the students would have lot of pain. Lot means lot of pain. Tell me what would be the best most answer for this given problem. Tell me what would be the best most answer for this given problem. Let me bring this problem towards working board. What has happened? Just a minute. I expect almost none would be able to give the proper most answer for this given problem. Almost null. If still any of us is able to give the answer for this problem, no, it would be really a great achievement. You can take even 120 seconds. Even you can take the 120 seconds because it's not that straight problem. Put your complete concept behind giving the answer over the live chat, because this is a problem I can expect most of the students are going to do the mistake. Most of the students are going to do the mistake, and it has a problem which has been experienced by the computer science people. Had been a really well designed problem. Had been a really well designed problem. Had been a really well designed problem. So let me give, चलो 20 सेकंड कितना दे दिया 120 सेकंड. And end of the day, if you are not able to find the perfect most answer, or if you are not able to find the perfect most concept behind this problem, you just say sir no. So I'll have the fair idea that I had to explain each and everything into the great detailed manner. So in next 100 seconds, if you guys would not be able to solve this problem out, and you think that you are not able to connect this problem conceptually, you should write no. So I'll have the fair idea that I had to explain each and individual things into the great detail. कुछ बच्चे बोल रहे थे मेरे को कि सर why don't you bring out, or why don't you come out with few number of tough question. It's not a tough question, but I will say most of the student would not be able to yes, most of the student would not be able to do anything with this problem. I know, no, and what is the perfect time to take the problem which would have a certain higher level? I know that. Being a teacher, I know. I design each and individual level. Not getting, sir. Anyone else apart from Nishant, Pranali? I am not able to connect as number of trials confuses me. Yeah, definitely I can understand. Manju probably you had Gila Sequa in last video. That's sir, why don't we come up with few number of difficult question? So yes, it has come. Okay, most of the student has raised their hand and they are saying, sir, better to explain over the board completely. Okay, that's fine. मंजू, मैं आपको गलत नहीं बोल रहा हूँ, जस्ट मैं ये बोलना चाह रहा था. नाउ वी हैव कम विद अ टफ क्वेश्चन. दैट्स फाइन. नाउ everything I've got its on time when it do come automatically. Just a minute. So let me start concluding few of the important conclusion which we can retrieve out of this problem. This has been a die. How many number of faces used to have over the die? Obviously the 6 faces we used to have over the die. We had the same. 6 number of faces we are going to have with its die. Yes. The 6 number of faces we had. And out of 6 number of faces, they are not been bifurcated in terms the number which we used to have in general. Now they have been bifurcated in terms of their colors. How many faces have been green colored? 4 faces has been green colored, and the remaining 2 faces has been red colored. If you want, I can do it over here, but otherwise keep aside. One thing had been quite sure, out of the 6 number of faces which we had, the 4 faces are being green in color, and similarly the remaining 2 faces has been red in color. So at any moment of point, if we would like to have the probability after doing a roll that the face has been green, may you know what would be its probability? Its probability is simply going to be 4 divided by 6. So I don't have to explain into the great detailed manner, because the student who have been following me know from where this concept have come over here. And similarly, the probability that the face has been red would be 2 divided by 6. 2 divided by 6. That is great, sir. No issue. At least till this point, I don't have any issue, sir. The common factor had been involved over the numerator and denominator. It's right time to knock them out. It's going to be 2 divided by 3, and here it's going to be 1 divided by 3. And obviously, as they have been complement event, their addition would be 1. So even any mistake you have been committing, no, you can cross check with that also. So the probability for the occurrence of green face while doing the roll had been 2 divided by 3, and similarly P of R had been 1 upon 3. What exactly the problem 1 asks? It asks the 3 green faces and 4 red faces. How many number of times the trial had been made? 7. Here also 7, 4 plus 3. Here also 7, here also 7. But the agenda has been quite different. The agenda had been quite different. Just focus over the first question. How many green faces we want? 3 green faces we want. How many red faces we want? 4 number of red faces we want. So here it goes G, 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 R, R, R and R. There the multiplication would be there in between, or whether the addition would be there in between. Obviously the multiplication. We want green and green and green and red and red and red. And keep in mind, if the first time the die has been rolled, no, and if the face has been green, second time if we'll do the second roll, no, has nothing to do with the first trial. It's nothing to do with the first trial. So you can say the output or the outcome which has come first time is nothing to do with the outcome which would come into the second time. Yes. But one of the more interesting thing, this is not only the thing which would satisfy this requirement. Even G, R, 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 G would also satisfy this requirement. Even R, 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 G, G, G would also satisfy this requirement. May you know how many different words we can frame from G, 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 R, R, R without dropping any of the alphabet, without repeating any of the alphabet. How many alphabet we had? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So here it goes 7 factorial. G has been repeated 3 times, so here it would be a 3 factorial. R has been repeated 4 times, so here it's going to be 4 factorial. That means the different kinds of the word which can be framed is equals to of 7 factorial. If all of the alphabet would have been the individual alphabet, non-repeating alphabet, the answer would have been 7 factorial. But as the G has been repeated 3 and R has been repeated 4 times, so the answer is going to be 7 factorial, 3 factorial into of 4 factorial. This is only the outcome, how many ways this word could have been rephrased, could have been made different. Into. May I know the probability of green had been, how much it is? Probability of green had been 2 divided by 3, 2 divided by 3, 2 divided by 3. So here it becomes 2 divided by 3, which would be raised to the power of 3. Into red, what had been the probability over here? 1 divided by 3, which has been raised to the power of 4. Whatever the answer you get, you have to write over the live chat. Now it's your responsibility to get the answer for the first option, second option, as well as third option, as well as fourth option. If we go ahead with this, how many green faces we want? The 4 green faces we want. So obviously the remaining faces would be red in nature. May you know what would be the different ways those sequences could have been followed? You could have 3R first and then you could have 4G last. Put together, the result is simply going to be 7 factorial, but at towards denominator side, the G has been 4 times, so here it's going to be 4 factorial and here it's going to be 3 factorial. So as far as the component which is getting multiplied, it looks very same. May I know, do you have any change? Yes, we would have any change, sir. Now, how many green faces we want? The 4 green faces you want, so it would be 2 divided by 3 to the power of 4, and here it would be 1 divided by 3 to the power of 3. 1 divided by 3 to the power of 3. and this multiplication factor is making the life hell. If this multiplication factor is not going to come, no, just you can understand, sir, if the power is more for the 2 divided by of 3, no, so by default you would be having the highest probability, but this value is also going to change option by option. Agreed? No? If this is not been involved, may you know where the probability would be more? As once you'll add their power together, it's always 7. So you'll just focus where the maximum power had been there with 2 divided by 3, that would have been the answer. But this is not the case over here. This is not the case over here. Agreed? May I know over here? We want the 5 green. So we have been left out with the 4 red. How this possibility would be addressed? 7 factorial, the G has been come 5 times. So it's going to be 5 factorial into of 2 factorial, and here goes the green. Green's probability has been 2 divided by 3. How many times you want? 5 times you want, and 1 by 3 has to be exactly 2 times. 1 by 3 has to be exactly 2 times. So the two different concepts are being involved. First, concept of the probability, and second, how many ways the different words could have been made by this 7 number of alphabet. Why the division has been taken place? Because in future, if the G and this G has got shifted, no, they are not going to make the different word, and as they are not going to get the different word, few of the different words which have come into the picture because of their swapping would be knocked off, and that is why the 5 different factorial ways the swapping would have been done with the G that has got divided. Similarly, if R and R is going to get swapped, no, still the new word has not been formed. That is why the 2 factorial have got divided. And similarly, here goes the 6 green, and 1 red. What's going to be the possibility over here? How many different ways this word could have been framed? Obviously, my dear friends, only you had to change the place of R. It could be at first, it could be at second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, 7 different ways. Otherwise, you use the standard formula which we have been using so far. It would be 7 factorial divided by of 6 factorial. 6 factorial, and 7 factorial divided by 6 factorial is same as 7 itself. And it has been left out with 2 divided by of 3 has to be raised to the power of, how much? It has been 6. And 1 divided by 3 has to be the raised to the power of 1. This has been the crux behind this problem. As per my intuition, there would be the competition between the option C as well as option D. So find the answer from the option C as well as option D. Wherever the probability would be more, that would be the bestmost option. Although many of the students would think, sir, 2 divided by 3 is greater than 1 divided by 3, and 2 divided by 3 has been raised to the power of 6, and whereas 1 upon 3 has been raised to the power of 1, so probably the D is gonna be the bestmost answer. But you also have this thing in your mind: if this weightage is very large, no, even the option C could have been the bestmost answer. Tell me what's gonna be the bestmost answer after doing all sort of calculation. बोलेंगे जल्दी बोलेंगे, do not delay. How much answer we have been getting for the option C as well as option D? I would just expect from all of the students who have been following me, they should write the answer while solving the numerical values with the option C as well as option D. So Manju have come out with the answer as option C, which is a perfectly well answer. See, now you yourself would be able to understand such a massive design problem it was. Thanks to computer science to force us to teach something new, something great. So again, I am saying many of the students would forget about this. Many of the students may not be able to know about it. So anyways, that's what I am saying. No, this has not been the complete course. In complete course, I used to cover this formation also. But here, specifically in mathematics, where we are going into the important topic, no, you had to have a little bit idea. If you have the 7 different words, how many ways that word could have been created? 7 factorial. But as few of the alphabets has been repeated, no, even if you'll change their place, what would happen? You yourself would be able to understand they are not going to form the different word. That is why the division is being taken place. Agreed, no? So the best most answer I have come with C. The best most answer I have come with C. So did you enjoy this question? Probably most of the students would have learned something new with this problem. Obviously the best most answer with this problem was C, and such a massive problem it was. I can say even it could have been formed A as a first question itself. What's the probability that the 3 green and 4 faces has been red? Because that answer itself, or the calculation of that answer itself, takes hell amount of problem or hell amount of time. So I can say it has been a combination of the 4 different problems: first, second, third and fourth. And I would like to ask from each one of you, did you really understood why this multiplication has been taken place? Because their sequence can change, and as their sequence can change, you can relate this concept with the formation of the different distinct word. If the repetition or the swapping between this 2 alphabet takes place, it's not going to make the different word. That is why the 3 factorial as well as 4 factorial has been extracted out. How many different ways this GG, RRR as a word could have been fabricated? They could have been fabricated as 7 factorial divided by 3 factorial into 4 factorial. Okay, then that's fine. Option C and is 0.3. Okay, then we will meet precisely at 10:30, and there my agenda would be electromagnetic field theory over the live web. Till then, bye bye, take care, good night.